Greetings, opera lovers everywhere. It's Rona from Pittsburgh, giving an overview of the broadcast of Die Valkyrie, which was taped last year live from the Met, which was also brought into theaters last year. Well, I actually saw it live at the Met. I believe it was May 11th, a Saturday matinee. And I was going to try to make it to the encore production so I could see how the live performance differed from the HD experience, but instead I wound up in a hospital in an emergency room. Such is life. But I did get a chance last night to see Die Valkyrie as it would have appeared on the HD screen from my bedroom television set. Unfortunately, it's a very long opera. And during the large duet between Brunhilde and Siegmund, I nodded off. And I kind of woke up again here and there, but I really couldn't make much more. But God invented DVRs for people like me. And so this evening I finished rewatching the opera, really just to see how it differed from the live experience. I don't think anything that needs to be said about the production there's nothing to be added to what you can say about the production. Everything that needs to be said has already been written, spoken about, discussed, dissected, whatever. You liked it, you didn't like it. You thought it was the worst or the best or whatever. Doesn't matter. What I was interested in is, how did the experience differ? First of all, as most of you know, I loved the production. I thought it was fabulous. The singing was mainly really good, but I'm not a Deborah Voigt fan. Having said all that, one of my biggest complaints was that in the beginning of the opera, when the orchestra starts to play their rumbling music, it sort of didn't fill the house the way I wanted it to. But on my home TV, it did. The sound was completely enveloping. And so that was a big plus for hearing it on your own home theater, however you have it done. The second biggest improvement was having the titles, the translations underneath. When you go to the Met, you have to read the translation on the seat in front of you. And what could they do? That was the best solution they had. It's okay. But on TV, it was much smoother, so the translation was a big help. In general, I thought the broadcast was an improvement over the live performance in the following ways. First of all, you got to see a lot of detail that you did not see live. For instance, in Act 1, there was a lot of snow going on, and it kind of, I guess I noticed it, but I didn't pay that much attention to it. Also, as the camera moves around a lot, that can take your attention away from the fact that, here's something I didn't notice, the staging of the singers was really poor. This was really made evident to me during Siegmund and Sieglinde's, the end of Act 1, where they discover who they are, and they're going to run away and start a new race of people. And, I mean, at one point, Ava Maria Westbrook, however you pronounce her name, I mean, she did like these little twirly things from her being so happy. I thought it was silly. And a lot of the staging just, it didn't have enough, there was just not enough feeling in the staging to show the emotions of the people. And the worst of it was during the Todesverkündigung, where Brunhilde comes out and presents Siegmund what will his future will be when he dies and goes to Valhalla. I mean, she's at one end of the stage, he's at the other end of the stage. What was this? Not good. Some of the things that were really good in the theater did not come out quite as well on the TV. For instance, when the singers rise behind the scenery and then come in on that little, now I know it's a scooter, that wasn't as dramatic on TV as it was in the house. Also, the ride of the Valkyries was really a hoot in the theater, and I think maybe because I knew what was coming, it wasn't such a hoot to me anymore. It was just sort of okay. However, I still stand by my original opinion that this was a visually stunning performance. I just finished watching the end of the opera, and especially the last 20 minutes or so, where Bryn Terfel hardly sings at all, but he places Brunhilde on the rock, calls up Loga to set the magic fire. That scenery is so gorgeous. And there were other parts where the scenery, those planks move around and make all these shapes and have projections applied to them. Those are really the good things. Now, in terms of the singing, overall, I think most of the singers benefited from the taping of it, especially Deborah Voigt. She sounded the most improved through this medium, seeing it on TV, over hearing her in the house. On the other hand, Stephanie Blythe was not as impressive on the HD feed as she was in the house. Jonas Kaufmann was great, both places. Bryn Terfel, terrific, especially for his fabulous pronunciation of German. And Hans-Peter Koenig, who played Hunding, was very, very good. So I loved the production, but I figured out I didn't like the staging quite so much. There's a big difference between seeing operas live and on the HD feed, and that's really what I wanted to see for myself. They can both be good or not so good, but they're different. They each have their pluses and minuses. So I thought some of you who would like to know what somebody who saw both would think has to say about all this. So tonight I'm going to watch at least part of Siegfried before I inevitably fall asleep. Catch you soon.